Hey everybody, sorry about the vertical video. YouTube has moved around some options and then I just clicked something and here we are. So apologies for that. I know some people prefer it that way, so you're welcome to those people. This is going to be a real short stream. I just wanted to make sure that anybody that wasn't on our Discord or sort of follows the Facebook page or any of the other places where you can find good news about Kitten Academy, didn't have to ask what was going on. That we got right up there and let you know that Axel and Sprocket are no longer with us. I didn't really plan what to say here, so you'll have to forgive me for not knowing what to say. But um, Sprocket was at the ER for quite a while before um, she passed there, and I can tell you at least that we were assured that the girl the nurse that had been caring for her all day was there for her, and caring for her when she went. So, that at least is nice and comforting for me. I hope it is for you. I'm sure it was for her. And as far as Axel goes, he'd been seen by many doctors. In fact, just the day before, we were there with him at the emergency room. So it was a little bit of a surprise, but I was in the room with him yesterday morning, and I could tell that he'd just suddenly taken a turn. In fact, I didn't think that he would be able to make it to the ER, and I tried anyway, and we didn't make it to the ER. Um, but he was, he was with me, and I was holding him when the time came. So they both had that comfort, and I guess that's basically all I can offer. Now, I know there's probably a lot of questions about what happened, what went wrong here. We always ask ourselves those kinds of things too. It's important, to sort of look over things and see what, if anything could have been done differently or better, because you don't want those kinds of things to happen again. And sometimes it's hard to do that kind of examination. So we'd hate to miss anything, but the doctors at the emergency clinic, of whom these kids saw at least five or six. I can count five. I think there might have been a couple more than that even. So many doctors, actually, a lot more than they normally get to see, which is just Dr. Katz. Their sort of collective presumption is that there was some sort of a congenital, a birth defect, a congenital issue that they had, that they weren't able to specifically identify when the kittens are this small. That's just the way it is. A lot of times you never get to find the precise cause. There's just not, for instance, when they were trying to find out if Sprocket had pneumonia, they took multiple x-rays and still couldn't tell for sure whether she did or didn't because she's so small. They ended up, treating her as though she did, because that's kind of the way it goes. You sort of just make your best guess and then treat for it. And there's a lot of factors to weigh. It gets extremely difficult, and I don't envy the doctors having to sort of make those decisions based on incomplete information. Being in computer science, we always exactly what happened and why it happened, and there's never a question because all of the data is literally there. You never have to, sort of squint and go, I couldn't quite see what had happened. So it's always been a little difficult for me that the medical field is so different, where you do have to make a lot of assumptions and guesses and sort of go off the best possible interpretation of the data. And when the kittens are that small, there's a lot more of that going on. So that's a long-winded way of saying that although the doctors presume that it was some sort of a congenital defect that was sort of exacerbated maybe by the fact that they've got this diarrhea, and those two had and evident some sort of upper respiratory thing going on too, which I've been calling an upper respiratory infection, but I saw somebody in the chat the other day say it could have even been a congenital thing like nasal polyps. We don't really know. And in fact, it did sound a lot like that. So who knows? It's again something you don't know for sure. Um, but that is the sad news. Now, I know obviously the next question, I see some people talking about it here in the chat, is what about these two? This is Cog and Crank, and they both just had breakfast, and I gave them some dewormer again, and they're settling down for a nap. They are making excellent gains. They seem very healthy, fingers crossed. And if there is a congenital issue, they either don't have it or just, it hasn't hit them the same way. I feel like there's no reason to think they're going to be anything less than just fine. But of course, we're going to keep an eye on it. It's not like we just go, okay, I think they're fine, forget about them. We'll be watching out. But they do seem like they are doing fantastic. In fact, Crank's gains are like spectacular gains, and Cog's gains are very good. So they're both fuzzy and happy. They got their eyes open. I mean, not at the moment, they're sleeping, but they're doing super well. And their mom here is also doing well. I just had to weigh her so that I could give her some more dewormer. And she weighs, it was just pointed out in the chat, 9.5 pounds, which is what she weighed when she came in pregnant. So she's definitely put back on the weight, and that's good. We're happy about that. So that is basically the story. Now, just to talk about treatment for these kids, they only have really one symptom to worry about at this point. We treated mom for her upper respiratory infection, and I don't think anybody's heard her snorting in several days. She seems like she's doing fine. In fact, she's been totally wacky. I think she's getting a little stir crazy in here, and she wants to play. And she's been like grabbing and wrestling with my arm and sort of biting on me and jumping around and playing with all these toys. And this morning, DJ came in and gave her a little catnip toy. I don't know where she put it. I might be sitting on it, but DJ came in and gave her a catnip toy, and she was just a kitten with that thing, rolling around and having fun. So I feel like she's feeling much, much better. I still see a lot of her third eyelid, but that's been something that's been present since the minute she came in. So we'll have more of a look at that in the future, but it's certainly not anything critical. You can see it right now, in fact. There we go. But I'm glad she's over that URI. These kids aren't showing any symptoms of that sort of a thing. We do still have the diarrhea, which is why I'm trying some new treatments for them. The diarrhea that they have is not severe. It's not that severe, but I want to get it taken care of. And the diarrhea that she has is not the kind of diarrhea that's life-threatening or anything, but it's severe in the sense that it makes a giant mess in the litter box and smells really bad. I've seen worse diarrhea, but oh man, it's tough for me to take. So we're treating them again. I talked to the doctor just yesterday. In fact, I was in here writing her the email when I took Axle and left the room. So I had written to Dr. K about what we can do about the diarrhea and about their ongoing issues. And she says that it's perfectly safe and fine to give them another round of dewormer and maybe go a little bit longer on this one. So that's what we're going to do. She also said if they continue to be gassy and have diarrhea in spite of all that, we can also give them a product that she recommended for the gas specifically, and another product that she recommended for sort of treating the symptomatic diarrhea instead of finding the cause. So might try those if we get to that. And she even gave us the numbers on a dose of antibiotics, although we really want to hold off on the antibiotics unless we absolutely have to, because they've already got diarrhea, and those just wreck their gut flora and can give them bad diarrhea. And it's not a good idea to do unless we really feel like it's necessary. So that's where we are. So there you go. Just one more time, it's because I know a lot of people are coming in late and are asking about it in the chat, I see. I'll just go over the big news one more time, which is that Sprocket and Axle passed away yesterday, so they're no longer with us at all. And if you want any more details, I guess I ramble about it quite a bit for the first few minutes of this video. You can go back and watch. These two, though, are Cog and Crank, and they're doing fine. They're just taking a nap. They are super. In fact, let me show you real quick because I want you to see how cute they are. Just a little bit of happiness at the end of this sad video, all right? This one's Cog. He's a boy. And you can see he's got big eyes. Oh, yeah. And he's like, why did you wake me up? I was just having a good old nap. Okay, Mom's like, what are you meowing about? I'll take care of you. They're not toys, Mom, okay? I know you're thinking they're toys lately, but you got to go easy on them. And this is his sister. This is Crank. She is huge. She's just a giant teddy bear of a kitten. She weighs almost half a pound already, and you can see she's trying to nurse on my finger a little bit. She's always got this sort of half open eyes thing going on, like she's just too big and too chill to worry about opening her eyes all the way. Big old teddy bear. So those two are doing just fine. There you go. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to chat about. We're just going to end the close-up with this. We're not going to try to go around and see everybody. This is a one-purpose close-up. And yeah, again, I see Ellie Brown format changed. Yeah, sorry about the vertical video. I misclicked a couple things when I was setting it up, and I couldn't figure out then if there was even a way to change that. So we just got into it, and that's that. All right. I wish I knew what else to say. Look, I'm really sorry for all of you. I hope you're all doing okay, and that the news doesn't hit you too hard. I know DJ and I had a bit of a rough time of it yesterday, but I'm okay. I want you to know that I'm doing fine now, and I think DJ's doing all right too. And I know it can be some sad news, and I know that you guys can be very invested in these kittens, you know, as invested as we are, and it could really. You can be sad about it. That's okay. You know, it's okay. If that's the way you feel, there's nothing wrong with that. We all do sometimes. And I just wish I could give you a big hug and tell you it's going to be all right. I really regret having to ever bring any of you that kind of news, but also, you know, we've made a commitment to always just letting you know the facts, whatever they might be. And other than that, not belaboring all the emotional stuff. So there you go. Those are the facts. I'm sorry. I hope you're okay. These kids are all going to be fine. And now I have a long morning of, I've decided not just to deworm these guys, but everybody in the house gets 5 days of dewormer. I'm not looking forward to trying to give that to, say, Maggie and Eddie, who are somewhat medication resistant. That's going to be a long morning for me, so I probably ought to get with it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for all the kind words, too. Like I said, DJ and I were okay. But thank you. It's much appreciated. All right, you guys. If you want to keep watching the kittens, you know what to do. I'll see you around.